All right, Jay and I are going to show you how to use some of the Google features that some people are underutilizing and just want to go over them. The three that we're going to do are apps, extensions, and add-ons. So we're going to start with apps. Google Apps are just websites that you log in with your Google address. And if you click like here, it brings me to the apps that I have. And they're just basically websites that you log in with your Google account. So Jay's going to go over Chrome Web Store.
Okay, now with the apps, you don't necessarily have to go to the Chrome Web Store. If you hear about an app, you could probably do a search for it and it will take you to that app's homepage. But Chrome Web Store, it's kind of nice to get used to going to the Chrome Web Store because you'll definitely need it for like another video we'll do on extensions, and then the apps themselves are right in there too. It's kind of a nice habit to go to the Chrome Web Store a lot. And so you can get your apps in there. So basically all you do is, you'll see the highlight on the blue there under apps. You'll just search the store. One app I'll be talking about, you've heard me talk about before, is Pear Deck. So you might go in there, and you might do a little search. John's going to type in Pear Deck. You look for it and it's highlighted under apps, and there you go. There you have it. If you notice on John's, it says rate it and not add to Chrome because he already has it on there. Normally you'll have that blue add to Chrome. What you might find sometimes is you might need permission. Whenever you're in apps, you might need permission from the site coordinator, which in the case for Seneca East would be Jake. And so you might email Jake and say, hey, I need permission to get this app. And as long as it's an educationally appropriate app, you'll probably be okay. Most of these will be free. Even Pear Deck has a free version. Now, apps, you'll find that you might have to pay for some apps if you want all of the things inside of it. But most of them you'll be able to get at the beginning for free, and either through trial or just not use all of the features. You'll have that. So that's what you would do whenever you look to actually get the app. I'm going to swing it back to John, and he is going to briefly describe Google Classroom.
Yeah, so even though you can click on here to get to the apps that you have, I never do that. I just put all the apps that I have and other pertinent web pages into my bookmark bar. So under Google, I have a whole bunch, and I'm going to just show you Google Classroom, which is an app, just like Google Drive is an app also. And I have several classes here experimenting with JRoji also. And here is an app, and this is a great way to share assignments with students because as you create assignments here, you can then assign those to students like a Google document, and it will automatically create a new doc for them with their name in it so that the naming protocol works out very smoothly. So we'll talk more about Google Classroom later, but this is one of my favorite apps that I will be using next year.
Yeah, I'll add to that too. I'm going to start Google Classroom next year also. When they came out with it last October, I was not a real big fan, but it's kind of like an Apple product. That first version really isn't that great, but they made a lot of changes that I really think it'll be ready to go by next year. And again, we'll have another video going over Google Classroom a little bit more in detail. Okay, so the one I want to go to next then is Pear Deck. And if you know me, you've heard me talk about Pear Deck before because I just love it. I think it's a great tool to use. It does, if you want the full features, it does cost some money to get the full feature of Pear Deck, but there is also a shortened limited use version that you can use for Pear Deck too. So basically what you do is you just go in, and we're in John's Pear Deck account right now. I'm going to have John go ahead and click on the first one there that says Case on Nutrient Cycles. And he might hit start presenting. He's going to go ahead and he's going to start a new session. This is just to kind of show you what it does. It just really gets interactive with the students. Why don't you go ahead and hit student view, John? This is what the students will actually see on their computers. Whenever you're in class, the students will get the exact same screen that's up on the projector, which will make it real nice for them to kind of follow along. And so basically all you do as you go through it is you just hit the arrow. Go ahead and hit the arrows, John, to go to the next slide. And it just goes through a presentation. It's basically just a Google presentation. But the real nice thing is that eventually he'll get to a slide that asks a question that the students will respond to. Like, are all of the cost of an expansion accounted for? So he asked that question to the students. they would then type in on their laptops an answer, and we could project those answers to the front of the classroom anonymously, so people don't know who answered what, and we would see everybody's answers. There's short answer, there's multiple choice, there's one that's a new one. It's a drawing one. It's awesome that you can draw. They add new little features all the time. Recently, they added a timer on the responses where you can only give them 30 seconds to answer, and they will actually see the clock on their computer that, oh, I only have 10 seconds to answer and my teacher's going to lock this question. A great tool. You might not use it for grading so much, but to really get a feel for your classroom, where are they at? How are they paying attention? What are they picking up on? Great tool to use. And again, we'll do a separate video in the future just on Pear Deck.
And another thing about Pear Deck is if you do presentations like PowerPoints, it's a great way to get interactivity and engagement into a presentation to make sure students are following along with their computers.
And students themselves can actually create Pear Deck accounts too and go through Pear Deck to present to the class.
All right, good. Last one I'm going to show you is Google Read and Write. Shout out to Terry Eberhardt, who really has spearheaded this one. And this works on top of Google Documents, and it's great for students that have challenges with reading. So this actually pops up on top of all Google Documents, and I can go through and I can click and
identify and define two relevant terms here. Do not repeat. MFP complex, a protein that is...
So it will read text from a Google document to the students. They can highlight on top of that for themselves. So really great tool for having complicated material to students and having that ability for students to read that to them aloud. So that's Google Read and Write.
Okay, so just to sum up there with our Google Apps, things you want to keep in mind. The apps are a separate web page in themselves. And so like John has showed before, you can make bookmarks for those Google Apps and just click on those to get there. You can also go through the Chrome Web Store. Like I said, just a good habit to have the Chrome Web Store to find things. Things to keep in mind is that they are a little bit more involved, and so some of them might cost money. Some of them maybe you have to wait a day to get permission to get that app. So there might be a little bit of delay there, but generally, that's like your biggest one is the apps. And they're just, you find one that works for you. Like I said, you've heard me talk, probably if you know me, about Pear Deck before, because I really like it. If you look to the left of Pear Deck, there's Class Dojo, it's called. I know in the elementary, some elementary teachers have used Class Dojo. I know Mr. Bum uses it a lot. And so, you just find the apps that work for you and, and then you just go from there.